Hi, this is going to be a pretty quick review of the Zodiac Oceanaire. This is one of the newer generation of the Oceanaires. Traditionally, they were silver 316 steel. Now they're released a new line in this IP coated steel. This particular one is the ZO8011. There it is on the case back. So it's a blue. It's not as strong a blue as the brochures or the website would have you think. I bought this one off eBay, and I quite like it, but it is going back because there's a problem with the date set movement on it. There's been a good bit of controversy on the newer Zodiacs there since the company was purchased by Fossil about 11 years ago. And unfortunately, a lot of complaints are pretty valid in a way, because these have really degenerated in some ways into pure fashion watches. The build quality and that, like for example, this one having to go back, because of a quick set problem, it doesn't bear great things for the Zodiac. Visually, it's a good looking. It is a good looking piece. It's about a 45 millimeter watch. And there is nice detailing. It has sapphire crystal, screw down case back, 200-meter water resistance. A couple of things though just pointed to being not a terribly practical, let's say, dive watch. And 99% of watches ain't ever going to see much diving. But one issue I do have is with the sapphire crystal. It is a domed sapphire crystal, but the visibility on it is pretty awful. Like I've got like domed Omega, dome tag, and none of the visibility issues. It's like when you look at old monitors versus, let's say, a modern IPS-based monitor, which gives you great visibility from all angles. This is badly thought out, and for a dive watch, not great. Second functionality issue I would have with this watch is with the bezel. It is exceptionally difficult to turn. Especially with cold fingers, or that you would have a hard time doing it, or through gloves. Also, the surface area of the bezel is quite narrow, so you don't have there's not a huge amount to grip with. So it doesn't feel like a premium product. Even the noise, the fit and finish is not that of a watch with a $700 recommended retail price. That said, visually it is nice, and there's a good fit and finish on the actual rubber strap. And that there is a couple of issues with the coating. I did notice, there is a few areas where you can see the steel actually coming through on the watch, which doesn't bode terrifically well for durability. I actually have another black IP-based Zodiac ZMX series, and that is nearly worn through on every angle, and it could be better done. That said, there is nice big sword hands on it. Movement, a lot of people have made issues about the movement on this watch, and a lot of it is down to the fact that it is touted as a Swiss-made watch, but it's using a CL888 movement, which is apparently Chinese derived from, I think, Seagull. It is okay, it's a 21,000 beat movement. It does hack, but the problem I'm having with this watch, I'll just show you very, very quickly, is that when the crown movement is reasonable. It's, again, it doesn't feel like a $700 Swiss watch. Okay, and when I go to change date, it ain't changing. So it's like the date wheel is not engaging correctly, so this one will be returned. But it is, it just doesn't bode particularly well for the movement. I haven't had to return that many watches. But a lot of people defend this watch and they say, okay, well look, it's only a couple of $100, so there isn't a lot else out there that you can purchase for it. I would agree to a certain extent, but let's say if we went outside the Swiss-made realm and we looked at the likes of the Seiko Monster. And the Seiko Monster is, I think I paid $100 for this about 8-9 years ago. And this has seen a hell of a lot of use. I've worn it in places I wouldn't wear anything else, and it stood up remarkably well case wise and that. And there's some great features on the Monster. The shrouds that protect the crown, you know, even the little crown guard at the side here, the actual very, very nice precise you know, bezel action, and that big glob of, you know, lume on the front. Again, this doesn't use sapphire crystal, but the visibility is vastly better than on the Zodiac. Again, it's a 21,000 beat movement, but it is noticeably smoother than the yeah, that's up around the tree. See, again, visibility on this guy is quite poor. Like the Zodiac is not bad, but there is a slight, a little bit of a quiver. The Seiko certainly is that little bit smoother. Not massively, but it is a tad nicer. I have to say, best budget watch I've ever purchased would be this Seiko. It gives you that feeling that it's not going to give any problems whatsoever. It's not massively accurate, so you do have to adjust it every couple of weeks, but you know, that's part and parcel with a budget mechanical watch. Slightly higher in budget, I paid I think $300 for this one new. This here is the Victorinox Divemaster 500. And in comparison to the other two, it is streets ahead in build quality. It is just, I have to say, Swiss Army really pulled out the chops on this one. It's a deep watch. It's about 13 millimeters thick, around about. The machining on it is really nice. Exhibition case back, definitely sapphire crystal, and very nice quality of anti-reflective coating used on it. It is exceptionally visible. Puts the other two really to shame. Huge big sword hands, big indices, with globs of luminova thrown in there. It really is very nicely done. The bezel action, 120 clicks. It is not quite as nice as the Seiko, but it is just, it does have a very quality, very precise feel. It lines up at the registers really well, and you know, these are features you look for in a dive watch. This one comes on a comes actually on bracelet. I took the bracelet off because with bracelet weighs well over 200 grams, so on a daily basis feels a little heavy, but that said, it works really well in just a, you know, contrast stitched strap. You know, so this one actually uses a different movement. Again, it's actually a faster movement, 28,000 beat movement. It's I think it's an ETA 2892, and it is, as you can see, much smoother than the other two. And you know, this one, in my opinion, for value wise, was exceptionally good. I do have an issue. If you look at the 9 o'clock fella here, he's rotated the wrong way around, and that's because he's after working loose. So there's a little bit like, you know, when you have the ball try to drop it in the hole. So I managed to get it to stick back in, but I'm going to have to open this one up pretty soon. But I really endorse this watch. It is a really remarkably pretty watch. And you know, it's a subdued enough looking watch. It's about 42 millimeter. The Zodiac's 45. So, but another litmus test really for watches is the level of lume. So we'll just do a quick comparison here. If we put our three watches side by side, and I'm just going to alter the focus a little bit just to get them in. So we have the Zodiac in the middle and Seiko at the top and the Victorinox at the bottom. So I'm just going to turn off the light. And instantly you can see there's a big difference between the three watches. We have the Zodiac in the middle, and it's by far the most difficult to see. It's barely registering. Sorry, just bring this back into focus. If we get the Victorinox, and she is exceptionally legible. Big sword hands. The actual luminova inside the dials is a beautiful job, and it works very well. And you know, it's really stellar. Very visible. The Seiko, again, Seiko are well known for using nice materials, and under dive watches they know what they're doing. This one, very, very nice, and you know, you can see the second hand clearly. And the nice thing about the Seiko, I'm very familiar with this watch, that lume lasts ages. It's not like some of the other super luminova based watches that, you know, that fade very quickly. I know Seiko don't call it super luminova, they have a different name for it, but what they use is exceptionally good. Now we have the Zodiac, and the Zodiac's kind of really hard to see. As you can see, you can barely see the second hand. The sword, you can't see the indices. You can't even see the double actual, the double lume dot on the actual bezel. For a dive watch, inexcusable. I mean, you know, 99% of companies making dive watches got this stuff down pat 10 years ago. You know, so there you have it. That said, it's a nice fashion watch, and you know, but for Zodiac to make something more of this watch, you know, for $700 list price, if they put an ETA movement in it, like a 2824, put some decent actual, put some decent superluminova into it, and just refined it a little bit. But it's a very hard watch to recommend for the retail price. If you can pick one up on eBay for like $200, yeah, do it. But anything more, I don't think the value prospect is there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not bashing Zodiac because I'm a huge Zodiac fan. I've went through about I don't know, 20 or 30 Zodiacs at least, and a lot of the 90s Zodiacs, run the value 7750s, and that I really think represent great value for money at the moment, and can, you know, certainly will hold their own in the future. This watch is a nice watch, probably at, you know, $300, but at 700 list, not a chance. Okay, thanks for looking. Bye.